Hello and welcome by round listeners to the latest edition of Jam and Cheese. Round 2 is done and dusted. First off, Cheese, how's the back?
Yeah, it's not how I wanted the year to start, Jimmy, but that's rugby league. Hopefully I'll be out there this week and just take a lot of anti-inflammatories and get me back on the field.
I don't miss those days. Back pain. I still get back pain a bit, but not where you're having to go out and play. And
yeah, the tough thing about those anti-inflammatories as well, you don't get to go to the number 2 for a long time. So if I'm on them for 7 days, I'm going to be clogged up.
We'll sort your plumbing out. Oh Jesus, it's a bit of a mixed up thought going on. But this week it's your first big derby between the Roosters and Souths. Obviously the Book of Feuds. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Last time out, just a casual 7 sin binnings. I'm intrigued to know if Ladbrokes have got a market on the over-unders. I'm going to go, I reckon 2.5 would be the line.
I think it could be more.
Oh!
Well, if I could bet on the footy, I'd go out there and give myself a yellow card.
How good would that be? No, sorry, coach. I'm just doing it for me winner. But in all seriousness, how much do you know about this rivalry? And look, I think last time out, the talk of it was that Trent Robinson and the Roosters looked at that game and thought they didn't handle the occasion or the emotion well enough. Is that something that's going to be a focus going into this game? Because there's so many subplots, there's so many people wanting to see it. The atmosphere is going to be electric. The fans are going to be vocal.
Yeah, I guess it's tough. We spoke about it during the preseason. I don't know too much about the rivalry yet, but I'm sure Trent will have a meeting around it and what it's all about, because it's definitely something in the DNA. And it's definitely something I'm sure Victor Radley and Jared Warrior-Hargreaves are very passionate about. But like you said, it's tough to tell them type of players to keep a cool head, because I think they play best when they're a bit jacked up. Like Jared, you can't ask someone like Jared, an enforcer of the game, to be be passive here, because that's just not how it is. And maybe he takes it over the edge too much, but a lot of the times he doesn't. A lot of the times he gets away with all his, grubbiness. But he gets away with his aggression. But
that's why he's there as well. That's why people like that are in the team.
Exactly. He's the big dog. He's our alpha dog. So I don't know what they're going to do about that, but I'm sure we're working on it. We've been working on it during the preseason and trying to keep a level head, but I guess it'll be tough.
It's one of them, I guess. From my experience, I got told numerous times, and you sit in a meeting room and I know, and
you tell yourself
it won't happen again, and then I've only gone and done it again.
You tell yourself what you're going to do, how it's going to go, and then when you get out on the field, a bad call goes your way, someone pisses you off, everything's out the window. The red mist is just in your face. And
I can remember actually with Josh Reynolds, we're going to take the emotion out of it, and then he got sin-binned at Brisbane and then walked into the changing room, and I was on the bench at the time, come up on the big screen and kicking these plastic chairs, and you know what? I just couldn't help but laugh. I actually laughed because it was just that's part of who we are.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. I think with a guy like Jared, Victor, you've got to take the ups with the downs, because that's why they're there to be that enforcer. And I think probably the day Jared's not fired up and not in people's faces is the day he should hang the boots up.
Yeah, it's the day we're in trouble. Speaking of that, I remember I got sent off in under 18 schoolboys. I got sent to the sin bin for actually swearing at the ref again. And I walked into the changing rooms and I punched this like fire hose like that was wrapped up. Like I punched the middle bit and I broke my hand. I was out for the carnival. And my mum flew over from New Zealand to watch me, and I just had this big broken hand. So don't let your emotions get the better of you.
Try keep them in check. But mate, it should be a fantastic game.
Yeah.
It's a game I love to watch. It's bizarre, mate. Like the form book just goes out the window, and
this rivalry obviously stems back a very, very long time.
Yeah.
They're founding clubs, you know, so 100 years of playing each other grows a kind of a rivalry.
Yeah, it brings out
it's unmatched. Really.
Yeah, it brings out the best and worst in people, but
yes.
mate, it's one of those. I just sit back.
I'm just stoked that I'm going to be a part of it. Like, well, hopefully I'm going to be a part of it. I think Jared's back. I think Victor's back. So. All the fireworks are set up to go roaring, so I'll be forward to it.
Sat there with me popcorn watching you guys go at it. It's just pure theatre, and again, form book out the window. Not that there is much of a form book right now, but it's some of those games, those last minute wins, like throughout my time here over in the NRL, it's such good viewing. I actually asked this. I wonder what the NRL want. Like, do they want? Like, do they want a repeat of last year's final game, or do they want like an edited down version, like a bit less?
Yeah, I think like the game they played prior to that one was a really good game. I think the Roosters won that one, but I don't think the NRL want to see 7 sin bins and 10 HIAs in the game. No, I don't think they want that.
I don't know. I wonder if secretly they're like, because everyone will be talking about it. Everyone will be tuning in.
Maybe they're paying Jared because he's got a big old house. Maybe the NRL's just slipping. Hey, mate, we need a yellow card this week.
Just give us some.
We need a yellow card this week. We need to pump the fans up.
Mate, like seriously though, like as a game, I think you secretly you want those fiery clashes because it gets people talking, it gets people interested. You know, it's
definitely as a spectator you want those.
Yeah, I know that's what I don't know. I don't know what I want. I like to see the attacking brilliance of teams, but then a bit of fire as well is always good. I don't want to see people get cleaned up and head high, but sometimes it's a unintended consequence, isn't it? But back over to round 2, mate. We saw the Roosters get over their get their first victory of the season. That must have been pleasing.
Yeah, it was. We had a meeting and I guess the spine, and Teddy said, mate, we need to grind out a win. We need to do this, and we did it. We had a lot of boys out as well. Like if you look at our people that are out at the moment, we got our whole scrum is pretty much out. We had Jared, Matt Lodge. I only played 20 minutes. Satili Tupanua, Angus Crichton, Victor Radley. Like that's your that's your whole scrum. And the boys that stepped up and played, they played outstanding. Like these guys that you guys wouldn't have really heard about. Like Fletcher Baker, I thought had a great game, and Lindsay Collins, I can't praise him enough. He played. There was a moment
where he chased back as well, knocked that kick dead. He does a lot of the effort areas that people probably don't realise, and when you consider he played 70-odd minutes.
And that was in the 63rd minute, I think.
It was.
I think 63rd minute of his stint, and he did that. He's won both the man of the matches in a row. So
he looks like he's trimmed a bit.
Yeah, he's on the he eats a crazy diet, bro. He eats like rissoles and sweet potato and sour cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Really?
It's crazy.
He does look like he's leaned out a lot.
Yeah, he's a real disciplined guy, and I guess the hard work he's putting in it's definitely paying off. Because like I've played against Lindsay for about 8 years now. We played against each other for under 20s, and he's definitely gone to a whole new level. And I'm glad that and it pumps you up. Like Victor talks about Lindsay in the meetings, like saying that it pumps him up, wants him to be better, and I guess you just feed off those guys that are doing so well. So
Yeah, he's kind of needed to step up this year when you consider all those
Yeah,
senior players that have been missing in the Roosters pack. He has had to. I know he's played State of Origin and stuff like that, but he's really had to.
Oh, he's definitely already known like good player, but now he's really stamping his mark.
Yeah. There was it's never a quiet day in rugby league, and there's probably a bit of overreaction, but the Tigers had a loss again. I don't know if you saw that game, but I thought they were pretty poor against the Knights.
Yeah.
There was plenty of drama involved in that game as well.
Yeah, what's his name? Simpkins got his head taken off.
Yeah, he's gone for 5.
He got decapitated.
Mate, it was a bit of a funny one that obviously no intent. Like Saifiti was, he knew exactly what he'd done.
He was in remorse, but it's just it's kind of just that lazy. You know, you're beaten, so you throw that arm out.
Deception of Coruscant.
Yeah,
and you can't say it's his fault, but
thanks Coruscant.
Yeah, like he's out that quick.
Yeah,
and as a middle, he's done. Yeah,
yeah,
and then you just react, and you've overchased on him. Then you react, and no one wants to see it.
Yeah, you knew straight away that he was he was feeling bad. So
yeah,
I guess it was a tough game as well because Kalen Ponga had gone.
Yeah.
So the Knights are in a bit of Barney at the moment. They lost Kalen Ponga and
Saifiti and Frizzell. And Brayley as well.
Jeez.
I think
they really toughed out a win then.
Mate, it was a gutsy win. There was talk that it's like one of Newcastle's best ever wins when you consider all the... Like, that's what some of the people with inside the camp were saying.
Mate, that is... I didn't know that Frizzell went out as well. Like, I watched the game, but I only watched...
Frizzell, I think, did his ankle. Dom Young was in the sin bin for a bit as well. Like, they were in all sorts. It was a really gutsy win by Newcastle, but...
Losing your starting front rower and 2 of your spine members. Like, one you lost in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, there's a lot of concern there for Kalen Ponga. Like, a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's 4 in 10 months. That's... I don't know what the protocol is. How many do you need to have? Like, what's 5 in a year get you?
I think really, like, I think it's mandatory now to go and see an independent doctor. But I think Kalen would be silly not to go and get all the tests. He's one of the stars of our game, and take that away. Take that away. He's obviously a player that suffered a number of concussions within a short period of time, and I think it's important he gets information, not fear.
Are they counting that 4 in 10 months? Are they counting that one from last week?
No, because that's not. That was an assessment.
Yeah, so he didn't.
But he passed that one. So, I think it's important that people don't speculate and say, "Oh, he should have X amount of time off." It's take it as long as he needs, but it's a weird one, mate.
It's a weird one because I think this HIA thing's coming up a lot, isn't it? But I think he's never gonna say like how much he needs. I don't think.
And it's a mental battle. Like, I know from my own experiences that you can get all the assurances in the world.
Yeah.
But like, it's dealing mentally with loved ones at home.
Yeah.
People like asking you if you're okay, people speculating on what you should or shouldn't do, despite, and it is just like people in the media will speculate like, oh, Kalen needs a year off or we might not play again.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't help. But then
the old Instagram doctors.
Yeah. But then even then when you do get the clearance, and I'm not sure if Kalen's experienced this before, but it does play on your mind. And, you go, like, I know I certainly changed how I played because of the number of concussions, and I thought, well, I need to remove myself from some of those situations. But the game takes no prisoners. Like
well, the game that's another thing as well. I think like his move to number 6, he's definitely making 30+ tackles that he would normally make from fullback. So I wonder what the discussion is around when he comes back from this head knock. Like he's going to see a lot more traffic.
Yeah, and teams aren't going to lay up, and they're not going to be sympathetic to him. Like,
when I watched his first game, I was like, geez, he's really giving it a crack in defence here. Like he was going in hard on blokes, and it's a pretty tough situation for him and his family to be in, but also the Newcastle Knights club. Though.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be some conversations internally there about maybe moving him back to fullback because it just seemed like he got so chest on, so fronted on, and when you're defending the line, you've got to put them on a shoulder, right or left. If you get front on, you're gonna get knocked back, and they're gonna get quick play the ball anyway. But there's a increased opportunity for a concussion.
I'm seeing a lot more HIAs than I swear I've seen in the game.
They do seem to be across it a lot more, don't they? I think that independent doctor has probably got a directive from the clubs to say, or from the NRL to say, anything that looks like it could be, we've got to err on the side of caution. And I guess that's the direction that the league want to take, and I think they've got to.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel for him a bit because he'd have all that external pressure of being a big star in our game, and that kind of really needs to just be put aside. Because it's overall his health. Yeah, that's most important.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot of drama in this week.
There is, mate. There's always drama. Even
what happened after the game as well?
Oh, mate, Clemmer doesn't. He just loves it. David Clemmer. He'll argue with himself in the mirror. That lad. He's a tough fella. Like he came through at the Dogs while I was there, and he's another one of them. Yeah, like he's Jared. Like,
exactly.
You can have all the conversations in the world with him, and
he probably had nothing against. He probably had nothing against Jackson Hastings either. It's just one of my teammates. One of my teammates is in a scuff. I've got to be in a scuff.
Well, that's it. I mean, he's got everybody's back, Clemmer.
Yeah,
he's got everybody's back. So he's just there to try and not diffuse the situation. That's the wrong word, but to just back up his teammate in Tommy Talau. I thought it was a bit strange. Like after the game, I don't think there was anything malicious in Hastings' attempt. It was, he was attempting a tackle on Talau, and he's copped him around the jaw. You can't do it, but I don't know if it needed to be.
I'm like a firm believer in what happens on the field stays on the field.
You shake hands after it.
Oh, yeah.
Away you go.
Plenty of times with Clemmer, I've poked the bear. I love to try to fire him up. I'm a little ratty number 9. Like, you like to try to piss people off. Nathan Brown, he's coming to the club. He's another one I used to love to just nibble at. But as soon as the game's over, it's over. Like,
you shake hands.
You gotta let that go.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, like and it wasn't much. It really wasn't much. But
and there's underlying issues because that's his previous club.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, so. But either way, Newcastle, what a game. And then there was, again, like the rugby league this year, I reckon the standard's been...
Yeah.
I think we say it every year, but legitimately...
The games have been unreal. Yeah. Like, what was the first game?
That was...
Panthers
Rabbitohs, yeah.
That game was... I watched that, got my notepad out, watched some stuff. But I watched that. I thought Panthers were just going to roll them. The way they started, the way the game was looking, and then the Bunnies they just found a way, I guess.
Yeah, they did.
Latrell Mitchell, that thing he did on their second try where he did that offload was insane.
It was all class. But I think sometimes, like as a fan, you're like, why didn't they play like that the whole game? Like it took them with 5 minutes to go before they actually like kicked into gear, but. The reality is you can't sometimes but I think
South's, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I think Souths were last year when they got knocked out against Penrith, they conceded late before half time and fell into a hole.
Yeah.
This time they've come a long way, South Sydney, or maybe Penrith have just come that far back to the pack. But it was certainly a more improved South second half performance against Penrith than what cost them in last year's final.
That's no knock to Penrith though. They lost Viliami Kikau and Api Coruscant, two of the best players in their positions, and they still can put on a performance like that.
Yeah. No, they were class. That's why they're back-to-back champions. Mate, last week we spoke to you about Kafusi, your old teammate. I think what this week has shown, it wasn't personal.
No,
it was nothing against you.
I think it was personal.
Well, mate, did you see him get Hudson Young?
I saw him. I still think it was personal. This amount of times I used to make fun of him at training. He calls himself Denzel Washington, like genuinely third person. Like he'll say, "Oh, Denzel doesn't like that." So I think, I used to make fun of him all the time for it. I used to make fun of his hairline. So I'm starting to think it was personal, but it was good to see Hudson Young get hit like that, because he's one of those guys that loves to niggle at you on the field as well. And I respect his hustle, but it was good to see him get hit like that, to take a little bit of the limelight off me.
Yeah. Do you reckon Kafusi, right? Obviously, he was down in Melbourne and outstanding back rower, but he didn't need to defend like that there. Do you reckon he's come up to the Dolphins? He's like, I'm going to be the man here.
No, I think he defended like that at Melbourne, but a lot of the times he mistimed them.
Oh, really?
A lot of the times he got penalised for them. Like he'd just, smoke some halfback and get a penalty and would spray him for it. But I think he's done a bit of work, or Wayne's brought out,
He's smoking forwards, though. He's not smoking. Like,
he's killing
like
people.
You and who else did he get against the Roosters?
Egan Butcher.
Then he gets Hudson Young, who's he knocked him into next week.
Yeah, and perfect timing.
Maybe he's just been told no halfbacks, pick on someone your own size, and he's gone, all right then.
Well, I think it's a valuable lesson not to take the ball to the line.
Well, before the game, dig into the line there. It's like not on Felice's side. Well, he's getting that reputation now where teams are shitting themselves about going anywhere near him. I know I would be.
And like I said before, that you still got Ray Stone to deal with if you're running in the middle. So, but funny thing about Felice Kafusi, he messaged me like the day after the game. He said, "Hey mate, you got any YKTR gears?" And I was like, "Are you serious?"
Mate, we'll send him some buy round.
Yeah, we'll send him some buy round merch.
Yeah.
And then he's offered a trade. He's going to send me some Bundy rum, because he's got lots of Bundy rum, and I'm going to send him some clothes. So
happy days.
I don't know if it's like a Tongan tradition that after you smoke some bloke, it's customary to have a gift exchange. But yeah.
Mate, another Queensland are dominating. I think they're 5 from 6 possible. The Queensland teams are dominating, and the Brisbane Broncos beat 2 of last year's top 4.
Yeah, they're 5 from 6. Did you say? And
the Queensland teams are, because obviously
the Cowboys played the Broncos.
Yeah,
so. Yeah. The Broncos, they're a real deal this year. I think we spoke about it. Like, their side on paper is pretty damn good, and no knock on what Sal and Cobbo said, but obviously Kevy's doing a pretty good job at coaching right now.
But they were under also. I hate that we do this, but Kevy as a coach and the Broncos as a club were under pressure before a ball was kicked. And when you look at the start, Penrith into the Cowboys, like a Queensland derby, and they're a top 4 team from last year. Like,
the scary thing I thought is they played bad. They played like the first half. They didn't play good at all. They were clunky in attack, and I mean they got skinned pretty easily on their first try. But like for them to just be able to muscle up and come back with that victory is pretty good. Scott Drinkwater, I spoke to him yesterday. He's out for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was too bad. I think it's just a broken jaw. That's not a good sign.
No, I think mate, the NRL are just saying we can't accept this type of tackle anymore. He's turned, but it is a shoulder charge.
Yeah, it's that lazy. You've been beaten.
And I, mate, when you've got Corey O tailing down, I get it, but I guess you just got to find a different way. But mate, the Broncos, I thought Reece Walsh was electric. That try set up on play 0 where he's keeping player like you know what it's like when the fatigue sets in.
Yeah,
and if you don't execute your kick properly and chase, like he's just going to cut you in half. And,
and
he just created an opportunity from almost nothing.
I don't know what he's done, but he looks fast. He looks really fast. He looks like an absolute nightmare at the moment.
Yeah,
and he's only 20.
First game as well,
He's
like
only
of the
20.
season. First game for the club. What a debut.
Yeah. Do you think they've done this on purpose? Like they've done a pretty smart job. Like they've sent this 18-year-old Reece Walsh was at the Broncos system. They've sent him away to the Warriors. He's gone, do your apprenticeship, get some NRL experience, and then boom, they've just taken him straight back.
Well, they're taking advantage of it because he was electric.
Yeah,
if he can continue that form, like the Broncos will go. Yeah,
it's pretty much what Storm did with Harry. Like, gone, boom, you're at the Tigers, get some NRL experience, come back, and he's...
Well, yeah. Well, I think the Warriors were desperate to keep hold of him, but he wanted to move back to Brisbane in particular because I think his daughter or his ex-partner had moved back there, so that was the reason. Yeah. But
it was a fair reason.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But mate, he's playing out of his skin. But mate, it's so hard to call because and predict who's going to win because the standards just through the roof.
Yeah, like
absolutely through the roof. Well, that's all the issues we've got to talk about, mate. But we put it out on our Instagram for best questions. Get a t-shirt. So we'll go through a couple of these. There's a couple of good ones. Some of them are awful, but we had one. I really liked it, but producer Charlie and Cheese were not too happy. That one of the questions, I can't remember who it was from, but they asked them, why in Peppa Pig is there a doctor and a vet? Now I think that's a genius question. It got me thinking. Obviously I've got 2 young kids, so I know about I'm on the Peppa Pig scene. But it is one of life's great mysteries. If you're a pig, why would you need a doctor and a vet? Genius observation from whoever brought in that question. I think they deserve a t-shirt for that. Charlie and Cheese were like, Peppa Pig, I don't understand.
Is there any chefs in Peppa Pig?
Yeah, they have this like, what's his name? They have like a, yeah, I'm sure there is.
And what does Peppa Pig eat for breakfast? Bacon and eggs?
Oh, wow. Nah, she's vegan. Or maybe vegetarian. I don't know. But whoever, I'm going to vote that guy gets or girl gets a t-shirt because I think that's a brilliant observation. Chris O'Rourke 97. What's the worst spray Cheese has ever caught from Bellamy, and the worst spray I've ever seen?
I said before that I don't think the sprays I could say could be publicly said, the ones that I've copped, but I've copped one. I've seen one. Kenny won't mind if I say this. He says it all the time, but I've seen one Belzer sprayed Kenny Bromwich for, because at the club, taking a dummy or like they call it a show. It's like a big no-no. So, I remember one time Kenny Bromwich took a show at training, and Belzer came in and he was like, "Mate, what the fuck are you doing here, Kenny?" And Kenny goes, "Oh, sorry, mate, I lost sight of the ball." He's taking a show, and then Belzer's gone, "If it was a ham and cheese sandwich, you wouldn't have lost sight of it, would ya?" And then he may have said something added on to that, but yeah, shout out to Kenny Bromwich. Thank you, I love you. And if it was a ham and cheese sandwich, Kenny wouldn't have lost sight of it.
Oh, that's quality. the best spray. I'm not going to say well, I don't know if I've ever been on the end of too many, but
here he is. He's a saint now.
Oh yeah.
Here he is.
One of the best ones I've seen is we were in the video room at Belmore, and one of Dez's reviews was going on for a long time. Even I can remember just being like, I could go here, and then with like the way it is, it's like set up on what it goes up like that on an angle, so you can't really see all the boys. So with all the focus is on Des in the theatre doing the review. We've been in there for like good 45, and then we're all looking at Des, and then he just stops. I'm like, why has he stopped? And he's not looking at the screen, he's just looking down. And Cassiano's just like, he fell asleep. And Sam sits in the front row. Or he was like second row.
He's a great man, Sam. Can see us asleep.
And then Greg Eastwood's just gone like, like tapped him. He's like, oh, and Des is just like, gone absolutely banana. But in Sam's defense, like, I don't know if Des like to control the temperature. I don't know if someone would knock the temperature up so it was a bit warmer. And you know when it's gone so long, I remember thinking like, oh, I could get a bit sleepy here. But yeah, seeing Big Cass at the front of the room, putting out the big Z's, that was.
He would be a big snorer.
Yeah,
too. He'd have a bloody. He'd have a chainsaw in the back of his throat.
It was just brilliant the way like Des was like, and this and this and this and this and and then stop, and everyone's like, why has he stopped? And then yeah, that was why. That was brilliant. I loved that one. Poor old Sammy Cassiano. Oh God, I think my ears are still ringing from Des's the volume in his voice. Sammy_Emma. How did you get the nickname Cheese?
Well, it's kind of not a big story. It's just something that stuck. I remember getting interviewed after a game by Freddie Fittler. I think we played the Broncos maybe, and I took a run, and Andrew John said, "Oh, he looks like a runaway block of cheese," and what he was referring to is like, you know those people that run down the hill and chase those balls of cheese? Apparently, I don't know how, but that interview went kind of like, did all right. And then it just stuck. It just stuck as cheese. And that's like pretty much all it's been. Like I'm named after those cheese balls that run.
There's a race in England where they do it. It's
they do it in Scotland.
Yeah.
And you just chase this block of cheese, and apparently I took a run and I looked like that, and that's how it stuck.
Maybe you should go and enter that competition.
I would love to. It's something like those are like a bucket list things, like running with the bulls, doing that. But if you go to New Zealand and where I grew up, my nickname is Tubby, and like that's for everyone in New Zealand on the island, they all call me Tubby. So I'm trying to bring that one back.
Yeah.
Not because I was fat, but because I had this sick obsession with Rabbitohs when I was a baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a sick obsession with Rabbitohs, and my parents just used to call me Tubby. I used to cry in the Woolworths if I didn't get my Tubby toast or my Telly toast. And I just had this like, my favourite one was Poe. So, for all of you wondering.
Or was it, you know what, like, perplexed me about Teletubbies? What was the crack with the baby and the sun?
I don't know, but I loved it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what a weird... Like, was that supposed to be God?
I don't know.
Mate, you're the one that loved Teletubbies.
I don't think when I was a little 3-year-old boy, I was thinking of the intricacies of God up in this and the baby in the sun. But yeah, I love the little like yawning at the. We've lost the plot here.
We have lost the plot. We'll do last question. 23 Whisk. If you were Aussie, who would you pick to play Origin for?
Cut me open, I'll bleed maroon. So, I'm not sure about you, but I grew up in Townsville. I played for Queensland, 15s, 16s. And I remember I sort of was because my dad supports New South Wales. I sort of was a New South Wales fan growing up. But then as soon as I played this under-16s game, we did like a lap. And we were under-16s and New South Wales fans were just throwing rubbish at us while we were walking around like the field. And I was like, man, fuck these blokes. Stuff these blokes, man. I'm a Queenslander now.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I think we went like 6 in a row after that, something like that.
Mm. If I was Aussie, I'd probably cry. If I woke up one morning and found out I was Australian, I'd be devastated. Which Origin team I played for would be a side issue. I'd just be that upset. Nah, only joking. Love it here in Australia. I love all you Aussies. Ish. All right, that wraps us up.
You didn't pick a side.
I wouldn't be bothered. I'd play for whoever I was at when I was 13, like the rules say.
Right.
Fence sitter. Be wherever I was born or wherever I played my first footy. Nah, to be fair, I like to see New South Wales do well. I had a few teammates that played for.
I like to see them do well as well, but just not as well as Queensland.
All right. I support New South Wales. How about that? All right, brilliant. All right, thanks for joining us, Cheese. Pleasure as always. All the best in your first derby game for the Roosters against South Sydney this weekend.
Thank you very much.
I am looking forward to it. The popcorn will be out.
I'll try to stay on the field.
All right, enjoy it, mate. Take it easy.
Cheers.